I know one of your other specialties, just for story purposes, I had a son that he started his own business, had 300 employees, was valued over $10 million for the company, and he couldn't get a loan.
Yeah.
We went to four other mortgage people trying to get him a loan. And it's, to me, a lot of the mortgage people put you in a box. Here's the criteria, and if you don't meet the criteria, they send you down the road. So, with working with those, are there unique things that you bring to the table for those types of people, those business people?
Yeah, I love that question. I mean, I love that question. I like to. My favorite fast food is Taco Bell. All right, so I take I take their slogan, "Think outside the bun," and that's how I approach mortgages. I got into this game, and I essentially was like, what is kind of like the hardest loans to do? And everybody said, "Oh, self-employed. They're a headache. They're so hard," and it's because there's so many rules around self-employed people. And so I was like, oh, I'm just going to make that my sandbox. Because if I can do the hard stuff really well, then all the easy stuff is like, oh, that's a piece of cake. It's like, it's great.
Well, from a self-employed person,
Uh-huh.
I mean, from the real estate world, we don't want to pay taxes like anybody else.
Yep.
And so you're trying to not pay taxes, but then you have to show your income.
Yep.
Well, how do you do that on your tax?
Well, there's so much stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Everybody runs in that issue. It's like, okay, well, I want to hold money back from Uncle Sam, which admittedly I am a huge fan of. Like, as little taxes as you can possibly pay, I'm all in it. But there are like other guidelines and rules that come with, obviously, like you have to buy a house, and when that comes down, there's ways to show your money, and there's a lot of stuff around it. There's a lot of products, and it's what I would say. What makes self-employment hard is there isn't a one size fits all. There's not. That's why lenders hate self-employed people, because they don't fit in this little box.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like I said,
Yep.
Taco Bell, think outside the bun. You have to do that a lot.
Yeah.
So there's one aspect of it where you can do the normal way, which is conventional, and it's what every self-employed person hears. 2 years, you have to be self-employed for at least 2 years, or show 2 years of tax returns of your self-employed business. You can't write off your taxes, or very little. I mean, those are kind of like the main things, and you have to show that you make like pretty good money from your self-employed, right? That's something that's like, it's playing nice with the rules. And so they're like, oh, I like that. Admittedly, I grew up kind of as a rebel, and so I'm not a big fan of the rule following kind of thing, or what I'd say is alternative motives or ways to get things done. There's a lot of loan types. Okay, so that box that we were referring to is what we call QM. Okay, so a conventional or a qualified mortgage. Okay, that's what QM stands for, is qualified mortgage. There's another section of loans called non-QM, okay, which just means non-qualified mortgage. I refer to them as self-employed loans. You can use them for a lot of different things, but typically I use them for self-employed people.